That's why I always say that you gotta kind of like look at this thing like an art. You gotta kind of just flow with this thing because if you get really like methodical and really logical with your art, you're gonna lose grasp over your talent, which is a gift that was given to you by the universe. So it's important that you know, like just kind of go with the flow with this thing. You know, like when you're an artist, it's really important that you study a lot of the martial arts and the Tao Te Ching and a lot of the Eastern philosophies of Taoism and things of that nature because it really teaches you how to not just stay balanced, but how to flow through every situation and kind of like how to just allow your situations that come at you to serve as signs and lessons on how to perform in the future, how to better perform in the future, and things of that nature versus putting boundaries on yourself and putting limitations on yourself. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. But if you look at what just happened on that last segment, man, it was really, really interesting. And because that's why I say you got to kind of go with the flow. Because if you look at what happened on that last segment, it kind of like was showing you everything that I was saying through the device. Because the device just clunked out on me supposedly, but it's a brand new device. So you got to ask yourself, why is a brand new device? Why is a brand new device clunking out on me? And this is my third one. It's because, like I said, we make these deals with these technology companies, not even realizing that you're selling your soul. You're like, well, I didn't make no deal with a technology company because I don't have no channel like you. You know, you don't want to put yourself out there like this and that. But that's where you are wrong, guys. Because like really, at the end of the day, if you pretty much got a device in any way and you're using it to get on Facebook or whatever, you're considered an artist on the internet. This is stuff that they're not gonna like really tell you, and it's like you're being traded and they're making money off of your image, whether you like it or not. You signed some form of a user agreement to be on there, so you could be making profiting off of that versus them profiting off of it. The only reason why they profiting off of it is because they got more knowledge than you. That's what it comes down to about certain terms and agreements. So right now I'm in a war over this device because I was telling you guys, it's kind of funny that they decided to go ahead and attack the device because I was telling you guys about a deal that I had did. And right after I told you guys about this deal I was doing with this movie, I'm still working on it. Actually, I'm still working in it. I got attacked real bad. Like they was pissed when I told you guys about the deal I was doing with the movie I'm working on the last video I did, on the last couple of videos back, on the on the 0 point video I did. I was talking about the deal that I signed, right? So as soon as that video was done, I got hit with like 2 more attacks, serious attacks with the channel, where like we lost like I'll say like maybe all of our sponsorship, almost, and it's been a challenge, but you know I'm still going. So even in that, even now, like with us losing some of our sponsorship, I'm still being attacked. So like what you seeing going on with these devices, like look for more of that. Like definitely look for more of that because these ET groups definitely don't like the fact that I know what I know, and that's why they're really attacking me. It's not even like they're even attacking me when I don't talk. They just hate the fact that I know what I know and that I'm walking around here and I'm existing. However, I have treaties with different groups. And I tell you know, and I teach certain things on public format, and there's certain stuff that I'll go more into on a private format. And that's kind of like where I'm at right now because I do like private trading and investing in my local community, as I've been telling you guys. So that's where it kind of gets deep on that level because that's where my sovereignty, like where you really get a chance to see my sovereignty. So what I'm working on is merging the internet with the local movement and getting a P.O. box or an address so you guys can have somewhere to send funds and help to, and then eventually you guys can meet me through this same address. So I'm working on that. But what happened was is that these extraterrestrials, I'm just gonna kind of like just go ahead and lay out a little bit more what I was talking about. Hopefully it'll be a little bit clearer on this episode, and go ahead and shut down on this part 3. I didn't plan on doing, I might do a part 4 and 5 on some other topics, but I didn't plan on doing this many. But I mean, like with that attack, you know, I got to keep the information coming. So it's like, if you can hear it, cool. Some people can rock with it, and if you can't, you can just keep rocking with the information as it comes, because this is definitely a book that I'm making. So what happened was that they pretty much took a deal, right? So they pretty much made a deal with the Reptilians. The Andromedans did, because they're power hungry, and it was some I guess you can say some, how do I want to put it? It was some booby traps in the deal. Let's put it that way. The Reptilians added some booby traps because, of course, when you're a designer in technology, and they ain't gonna teach you this, but pretty much when you in this technological world and you get into making your own brand, you pretty much on your own. You got to design everything from scratch and build it up from scratch the best way you can. The best way you see fit, or the best way you know how. Because at the end of the day, all of these designers function just like the way the Reptilians do. And they always going to make booby traps, or it's always going to be something, some type of program or something running in the background, to where, like, just in case you get out of pocket, they could just hit that button and boop, shut you all the way the fuck down. So it's like, you hear these guys, they talk about how sovereign they are and things of this nature, but it's like, does your sovereignty in any way depend on some form of a device? I don't even care if it's just the ink pen, but like, does your sovereignty in any way depend on some form of a device? Definitely like a cell phone or anything like that. And it's like, if it does, then you're not sovereign in a whole lot of ways. Because a true sovereign, your sovereignty is your temple, period. And people don't understand that. And what the Reptilians did and how they tricked them with the currency was that, say for instance, I loan you $1 million in fiat notes. What is fiat notes backed by? Fiat notes are backed by the faith of the people. The faith that these notes are going to be collected on one day, and that these notes are going to be able to be cashed out on, and you're going to be able to get gold or commodities, or be able to get something of long-lasting value for these notes. That's what fiat notes is about. So fiat notes are a form of energy. So this is the same thing that, I guess you can kind of say, this is the same concept of what happened with the Andromedans. So you take these fiat notes, right? And of course, fiat notes are debt. And they don't realize that. It's like, it's literally debt. So it's like, you figure, so if you ask a person, what am I worth? And if I have $1 million in my safe, well, I say, well, I'm worth $1 million because I have $1 million in my safe. That's not true. And they didn't teach them economics, you see. That's not true. $1 million. If you're worth $1 million, the only way you're worth, I'm gonna tell you how you worth $1 million. The only way you're worth it's only one way. And it's not because you got $1 million in your safe, or even that you have $1 million block of gold. It's not even that. It's only if if you have $1 million worth of cash flow, or income, or profit flowing in through whatever means or whatever that you have set up. And you can prove that through a various amount of weeks or months or some form of a period or time period. If you could prove that over a time period that's recent, that's the only way that you have $1 million. And they didn't teach them that, so they got all this money and this power and stuff, and they was holding on to the stuff. And guess what? It turned on them. The stuff had booby traps on it. And the same stuff that they was holding on began to turn into debt. Because they didn't pass it on to turn it into a cash flow or an economy or a cycle. Because the economy is nothing but a cycle. See, nature works in cycles. And everything that they learned, that's what I was pointing out in the last video, and I'm going to make it clear here, hopefully, if you can hear it, I don't know. But I'm going to keep dropping them regardless. But because you can hear if you listen. Those that have ears and that want to hear can hear. I mean, I know it's static, I know it's bad, but I know you can hear if you really want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may take a few times, but you can hear if you want to. So nature works in a cycle. So the Reptilians, they designed all this stuff off of the zodiac. Everything that they did, they designed off the zodiac and nature. So they knew everything that they was selling. They knew an exit strategy to get out of the karma of what they were selling. And you're like, so what are you talking about? Sales, karma? How does this have to do with anything spiritual? What are you talking about with aliens? What does this have to do with anything? What I'm trying to explain to you is that everything that you do, And this is something that the Andromedans didn't even know on this realm, because they're not as new to this realm, or as ancient on this realm as the Reptilians. And they didn't know that everything that you do on this realm has a karma to it. Meaning that you obligate, it's a contract. You just sign a contract, literally. Meaning that you have to fulfill that contract to a certain point, or you have to find a way out of that contract. The Reptilians been doing this for a long time, so they knew everything that they do, whether they selling something, which is a contract or whatever, they know how to beat the karma of that contract. There's a certain way that you go about doing that. And this is something that people need to really learn, us today, because this is why we have problems attracting money, and why we have problems when we do have money, we have problems releasing money. Because you have to master both. Everybody say, oh, I can get money, I can attract, I know how to get money, yeah, I got 3 jobs, whatever, however you get it, you know, I know how to get that money. But then it's like, do you know how to release money? Can you make it without anything? You see, that's art. Can you use your art to do and to attract? So yeah, that's what it was about, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this episode down real quick, because I want to come back up with some more information. But they was learning how to pretty much put their bodies up. Essentially what I'm saying is that to put their bodies up and to use their bodies as vehicles, to use their bodies as commodities, to use their bodies as shelter. Their bodies, listen to what I'm saying now, to use their bodies to get energy. And they learn how to work with their body so much to a point to where you start to work with the body and get deep into it, you really don't need a lot from the outside. Especially when mastered, though. If you do this in a community version, because there's different versions of this. If you work this operation in a community version, you don't need money. You don't need anything from the outside to exist. However, you can get and attract things and get what you want. So say, for instance, you go to a foreign economy, and you're like, well, and you want to eat, and you want some of their food, and they don't accept whatever you have from your bodily currency to get their food. There's ways that you can attract whatever currency that they got through your body and make deals. And this is something that the Reptilians know how to do. Physically in this economy, they're doing this. I'm saying, like, if you looking on the stock market, you looking at stocks being traded and going up and down, they're being traded in different currencies. There are some of these currencies are backed by physical people, bodies, sweat and blood. And the Reptilians know how to manipulate economies through their own currency, which is backed by their body. And they can attract dollars, yen, whatever they need to do this. So I'm going to go into more of this and go into more of this ET technology, but I just wanted to kind of drop some jewels out there and put it out there, and to kind of, you know, hopefully this will come out a little bit clearer on this episode. And as always, I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for watching. And until we meet again, namaste, hotep, wadu, peace.